Okay, all sorted. Sorry about that, everyone. Hey there, and welcome to the Pro-Am Division 2. We're here for round 3 at the Shanghai circuit here in China. So I woke up a little bit late. Yeah, it's 8:50 for me, and I'm definitely not used to waking up this early, especially in the lockdown. So we are midway through quali, unfortunately. So I can only apologise completely. My bad on my part, and sorry to everyone involved. Luckily, realised, got myself up, and we're here for the last 4 minutes of quali. So AA Gaming is currently on provisional pole. He is 130.555, and no, as I say that, Jin Sanity has just topped out with a 130.359 in his Alfa Romeo all in. Tomo, his silent car, currently third. He's at 30.7. I P5 in a P6. Yeah, 9 in a P10. Tom Marsh in P11. Cruz P12. Sadik 13. T 14. Sam 15. The Source in P16. Power in P17. Monkey P18. And both yet to set a lap time, but Venom now on his outlap. 3 minutes left to go in the session. He's on the compound tyre, which seems to be the favourite compound tyre in qualifying session. After this lap, I'll just quickly run and get a drink because, yeah, probably should have done that before. But again, and that's PSL line to set a 120.9, smashing the pole time, but on board with the AlphaTauri into turn 1, then a long swooping right-hander. Really have to make the most of the engine brake and down the gears. Really long swooping corner. You can see the understeer he gets, but he gets it back for a late apex, cuts it in to keep it tight, and flat out then as he rounds off sector 1. Very nicely done from Venom. Flat as he rounds off sector 1. 24.1, good sector 1 time. Into the hairpin he goes, then second gear to get the rotation. Short shifting all of his energy recovery system. Go for a caution lift. 7th gear, chucking it down the gears then, I'm sure, for in 4th gear, down the gears again. Second, not what AlphaTauri would have wanted. Let's see where this pretty scruffy lap puts the AlphaTauri. Down the gears he goes then, into 3rd, 2nd, and short shifting up through this long swooping, pretty much the opposite to turn 1. Very wide though, can't get the power down, but it's a very long swooping corner where you're accelerating out of the corner as you go through, where you're decelerating through the corner. So two very polar opposites there, but here he comes then into the famous hairpin, braking just after the 100 board. Down the gears as quick as you can. 1st gear to get the rotation and getting the traction on the exit. 30% ERS left as he rounds at the corner, chucking it in then in 4th gear, where we saw Alex Albon spin in FP3 across the line for Venom. It's only a 31.8. That's a 17th and only 1 place behind his teammate of Sawston. I'll be right back. So sorry for that brief brief interruption there, just grabbing myself a glass of water, just woke up, so yeah. But qualifying is finished then, and the Sawston finds himself up in P12. The top 10 having to afflicted by that is going to be August. He finds himself setting his lap on 3-lap-old soft compound tyres. He's going to find that to not help him a lot during today's race. But PSI Legends then, with a 29.794. He is your pole sitter, unless AA Gaming, who's currently on his lap. Let's see if the Red Bull can beat him through this long snail-like turn and on to the back straight, ready for the rest of his lap. Really using the camber there. You can see the banking of the turn as he opens DRS, the extra flap to give him the extra 20 kph of speed. You can see 205 miles an hour once he slams on the brakes, down the gears as quick as he can into the hairpin. Big lockup from both fronts, putting the load on the front tyres is AA Gaming through the final corner, then chucking it in fourth gear, using the curb on the inside and out across the line. Is it pole? No, it's not even an improvement. He's down on his time. It's P4. Ash up into P3 with a 30.449. Let's see if Iron Apple can do anything in the racing point across the line. It's a 31.2. It's a 31.0. It's not good enough for the racing point. So it looks as though the grid is set in stone for today's race. Of course, I'm pretty sure it's I think it's 26 laps of the Shanghai circuit, so this could definitely be very interesting. A lot of races of note, not in recent times but definitely before, where we saw Lewis Hamilton's championship hopes in his rookie season drift away as he went sailing on through the pit lane, but it is legend on a pole, followed by Jin Sanity. 5/10 he pulled that by. Absolutely incredible stuff. Ash in P3, AA Gaming in P4, Tomo P5, Sam in P6, Dennis in P7, Iron Apple P8, Teak P9, Aragist or Avo in P10, Sadik in P11, Nuge in P12, The Sourced in P13, Tom Marsh P14, James Cruz in P15, TWS in P16, Power P17, Venom P18, Monkey Mafia P19. Rounding off the grid with no time set, the Darkness Abyss, and we get ready for today's 50% race at the Shanghai circuit. And Legends has left the session. The pole sitter's left. He's going to have to wait until the race has started to get back in, because if he joins on the formation lap, it glitches out the game. Well, this has made things interesting. This has certainly spiced things up for today's race. So, how is this going to affect it? The pole sitter has left. He did pole it by a reasonable amount of time. It looks to be a dry session once again. However, he is going to be on the back foot for this race. Just while everyone is finalising their setups and everything, 18 seconds. So, if you didn't know, we are here at the Shanghai International Circuit, 5.451 kilometers, 3.3 miles, 16 turns, and a race lap record of a 132.238. Set, of course, in Michael Schumacher's Ferrari F 2004, designed by Hermann Tilke. No surprise there, but does produce some good racing sometimes. You've got that massive long straight with a DRS zone that is going to be playing some very good opportunities. But it looks as though PSL Legends into the laps we have here at Shanghai, so it's going to be a thriller of a race. And yeah, just got a quick formation lap while everyone's warming up their tyres, weaving around like snakes to try and get the temperature, use the friction to warm up the tyres, make them more malleable, and gives them a lot more grip in today's race. So PSL Legends leads the way from Sanity, Ash and Gaming rounding off the top four. So these guys definitely the ones to watch. They were very close in qualifying, and let's see what they can do. Looks like Sawston and Tom Marsh have had a bit of a collision. They're going to be disqualified from the session, starting the race on the pit on the grid. They're already back there, and their tyres are going to basically be stuck in a fridge until that point where yeah, so their tyres are going to be very, very cold, extremely cold, and that's definitely not going to help them for the start of this race. They're not going to get the launch they want. PSL Legends rounds through turn 13. I've got a track map with me now, so I actually know the corner names. Turn 13 here at Tyne. It looks like Power and Monkey both have been disqualified as well. Their tyres not going to be doing the best of good, but you can see everyone weaving around like snakes, side to side to side, and that is literally just to warm up their tyres, get the temperature window they need to do so. But the tyres situation, everyone on softs except everyone outside the top 10 who opted for mediums or hards. Well, two opted for a hard, one person opted for, no, two people opted for hards, one person opted for softs. Everyone inside the top 10 though have opted for the soft tyre. Let's see how much of an impact this has on the strategy of today's Chinese Grand Prix here for FRL. Round 3 here at China. Everyone's rounding off the final corner, waiting for the last people to round off on the grid. We go to 5 red lights. So the AlphaTauri is rounding off at the back. Let's wait for the green flag towards the back of the grid. Here we go. We get ready for 5 red lights. A short run to turn 1, but it's definitely going to be interesting. When are the lights on? Here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're here at 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. It's a very poor start for the Mercedes. Wait, he's not had the further back as well. Corner swooping right hander, but himself up into first place. A great start for the Red Bull, who finds himself can't quite get his way through on the Red Bull. Oh no, and the McLaren's round the Alfa Romeo's round 2 spins, and is that 3 as well further back. We've had a safety car and we've not even made it turn 6 in the race. Wow, it's so easy to do. Jin Sanity and Dennis and the Alfa Romeo and the McLaren both spinning out, coming out of turn 4, and the predicted pit stop strategy, mediums to hards, or mediums hards. So none of these strategies are on a soft tyre, so that's interesting to see how the soft people will manage it. But yeah, completely didn't even realise AA Gaming found himself so high up. He must have got himself around the outside of the AI driver of PSL Legends in the Mercedes. So the guy who I'm sure is now back in the race. No, he's not back in just yet. He will be pretty soon, I'm sure, hopefully. For him, he's still in P2, luckily, because of the safety car, but now the drivers have to adhere to a 40% race speed delta, so they have to go about 40% of the speed they would normally go in their race. But now they yeah, just while they wait to catch up to Fred Mylander in the safety car, so he can pick him up and take him for a few laps. Big crash then we saw at the start of the race. This means Ash in the Renault is now towards the back. Hey, what's up, man? This is FRL, an Australian league that I may or may not have woken up a little bit too late for, so yeah, I can only apologise for that one. But we're here ready. There's a safety car on lap 2. Ash is coming in, Sam's coming in, he's done a Lewis Hamilton, he's locked up and gone in very deep into the pit lane there. Not what he would have wanted to do, I'm sure, but yeah, not what he wanted to do. But these 4, 5, 6 into the pits, and hopefully for them it's not going to be too bad. But yeah, all coming in, change of front wing, so must have been a bit of damage for the Renault, and AA Gaming has let PSL Legends through. Not sure what's happened there. PSL Legends finds himself leading the way, and AA Gaming having to sit behind. Disconnected, well, the red X next to PSL Legends names doesn't convince me. But we have now got new predicted pit stop strategies: soft to hard, or soft mediums. Different strategies powered by AWS, and there's a Williams inside a Red Bull there, not something you often see. Huge has just piled his way through the front. He's overtaking the safety car. What's happening here? And Huge has been disqualified for the session for overtaking and ignoring the yellow flag, and that means PSL's Legends car drove into the back of the Mercedes. Well, what happened there? That drove into the back of him. He's now got front wing damage, and definitely not what PSL Legends is going to for the remainder of this race, regardless of whether he's in it or not. The Williams just decided to overtake the safety car. I'm not sure what was happening there, but the safety car is in this lap. We're on lap 2. We've collected most of the grid, and PSL Legends probably in the worst position of the bunch as we get underway for green flag racing. He's going to have to come into the pits surely. So AA Gaming, not at the moment, but he is your effective safety car. When Legends comes into the pits, he's going to have to bolt it into the pits, quickly put front wing on and a new set of tyres as well. But yeah, he comes into the pit, so AA Gaming's with the safety car. He's allowed to punch it whenever he wants from between now and then. He has punched it, and we're green once again here in China. Let's see if we can get off to an eventful restart. The AlphaTauri of Sawston up a lot of places on their medium tyres, looking to get his way past the Red Bull, who's wide. The lead is wide. He's off the ground. The pressure from the of Tom Marsh, who's found themselves up into P3 as well. It looks like these medium runners are finally coming into their own. The Sawston a bit shaky though. Of turn 2 through turn 3 and rounding off sector 1 then. AA Gaming on the back foot. He's on the back of the Mercedes as well, looking punchy to get his way through. We're on lap 3 of 28 of this race. Further back it looks like there's a bit of a confuffle with McLaren. The Red Bull though are definitely more on the back foot. Let's see if we can have a look at his tyres. 2 lap old soft. They shouldn't be screaming for help just yet, but still not the most ideal for the Red Bull, who finds himself now on the back foot trying to put after Sawston. We've now got to wait 3 laps until the snail cups, you could call him. He's got a full battery to use down this back straight. He's got a lot of slipstream. We'll see trying to recover from the mistake earlier in the lap. He's using it. There's a Ferrari on. Mafia has spun round in the wall. Further up, is that going to be a safety car? Himself in the he's got going again, but just got a bit shaky and coming out of having it. But yellow flag still through sector 3. Has he recovered? Yes, he has. Very nicely done for the Ferrari, who's found himself on the back foot. Everyone else responding with fastest lap. If to stick with him, any other bits of battles further back? No, it doesn't look like him. A cutback maneuver, get the power down as efficiently as he can. Side by side they go then. This is for the race lead. Yellow flags through sector 1. Has the AlphaTauri given it up? Yes, he has. He's not had the drive up the inside. Can he get it? Let off the brakes? No. So AA Gaming swoops around the outside. A great opportunistic move to retake the race lead, and Sawston still under pressure from AA Gaming, and he's managing to pull away, but Tom Marsh all over the back of him. Further back up we got TWS. There's another yellow flag through sector 3. Is this still because of the debris? I'm pretty sure it would have been. So yeah, Marshals quickly need to get that sorted for us all. But we're on to lap 4 of 28, a 7th of the way through the race. Sawston still on the back of AA Gaming, whose soft tyres are going to be in the best of conditions at the time being, it must be said. But on to this back straight, the Sawston all over the Kirby sideways, and just about managed to recover that, but that's not going to give it the back straight that he needs then. Romeo and Mercedes both waiting to strike like cobras, pounce on this opportunity and getting themselves up the inside and up in the into P2 as late as he dares on the brakes. Lick it, stick it, send it up the inside. Nicely done for the Mercedes there, and the Alfa Romeo fancies a piece as well. 3 abreast maybe on the exit, but Sawston's got a nice cut back. Has he? No. The Mercedes claims P2 after the AlphaTauris, and there's a VS. It looks like the back of who's that? An Alpha. What's happened? Both out of this race. What happened on this back straight? Was it a bit of contact? Did they take each other out? I'm not too sure. Looks like the AlphaTauri's in the wall and missing the front tyre there, so I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe we can get a bit of clarification after the race. But it looks like we're back to green flag racing. To the short PSC, DRS re-enabled onto lap 5 of 28. Let's see if anyone can bring it back, have a strong restart. AA Gaming looking to try and get it back after what was a pretty poor restart off the safety car, but he finds himself back in the lead, and he's got 4 lap old soft tyres to contend with though, and you can see he's struggling. He's locking up through these corners and he's not liking that very much. James Cruz up a couple of positions. Is that power under pressure? Yes it is. He's got dirty tyres, must have had a bit of a swamp. He's spun round, the McLaren's round. Is he going to collect them? Yes he is, into the Haas. No, big crash towards the back of the grid, and power has gone into the Haas, who now finds himself with front wing end plate. A lot of spins. The bottle is most certainly open in this race for the Haas and the McLaren, who finds himself now with a lot of damage. He's running wide. He's going to have to come in and pit. Completely caught off there. Was not his fault whatsoever for P6 though. Here we go, and James Cruz all over the back of Iron Apple. To the inside he goes then. Send up the inside. Not quite to get it up the inside. Not quite close enough, but the Williams the run on the inside, potentially not quite the performance. He needs to just get the good run on the inside through turn 1. He needs to just go for it and try and get his way up into 7th place if he wants any chance. He is on the medium tyres. In theory, should be quicker. Further up though, have we got any action? It looks like Sadek's all over the back of Sawston, who's now struggling on the rears for those medium tyres. He's been doing it all race, been struggling to get the car turned in, and on the exit especially being really shaky. Let's see if he can get a nice smooth transition. Yes he can, very nicely done. PSL Legends looks as though he's back into the race, and it's setting purple sectors straight out the box. You can see the Haas into the pit, gonna need to be saved by another safety car probably. Completely not his fault though. The McLaren just tried to come back, head was sideways, and nothing either of them could do. What's happening right now, I'm not sure, to be honest. Looks like the bottle is just opened, and everyone's deciding today's a great day to be spinning. But AA Gaming then leads us onto the back straight for the 6th time. Is Tom Marsh within DRS. It looks like Sawston's fallen back a little bit as well. Let's go on board with AA Gaming. You've got the nice view of the rear wing. Is Tom closing and closing, not quite close enough. The Alfa Romeo though looking to get himself onto the podium. Yes he is. The AlphaTauri setting up a cutback once again. The Alfa Romeo's in deep as the Haas gonna fancy a go at this as well. TWS to the inside. That move did not work out in his head what it wanted to do for Sadek. His brain said another. His brain said one thing, his car did another, and he finds himself losing not 1 but 2 places as AA Gaming is in it pit on this lap. His soft tyres then not in the best of conditions. Let's see what tyres he can pit for, but Tom Marsh inherits the race lead then from and the Alfa Romeo is reclaimed place. We'll have to see how the strategy affects. So AA Gaming onto the medium tyres, opting for the 2-stop strategy. P7 got to the inside, bit of contact, nearly so close, and so between the Williams. Like there's a 5-car train developing here behind Iron Apple for P5. Sadek as tried to claw his way onto the back of Sawson. He's found himself a bundle load of pace in this race towards the late stage of his first stint. He's all over the back of Sawson. Let's see if he can do anything down this main straight. He's been in DRS. Let's see if he's close enough to get it done. Setting up the good exit then, bit sideways and struggling to get the power down. This is only going to play into the hands of Sawston, but this is for P2. Can Sadek get his way through? He's in the slipstream. He's got the ERS to attack with. Sawston hasn't got the ERS to defend with. Comms audio cutting in and out a bit. Yeah, probably because my mic's lagging. I'll try and sort that out afterwards, mate. Yeah, okay, I will do. Cheers. But TWS looking to get his way past Sadek and can't quite do so in this on this occasion. Further back we've got Tomo on the back of Darkness and James Cruz, down to 15 runners in this race from 20 we had at 8 laps ago. Sadek any closer on this occasion? No, not quite. He's trying to get onto the back of Sawston, who's just about managing to hang on. James Cruz with 3 cars behind him. about 3 cars behind him. Darkness Abyss all over the back of the Renault, looking to get his way through. Will stay on board to the inside, lick it, stick it, send up the inside. Nice move from the racing point, and he's going to force the Renault out of the way. Really claim the racing line there, does the racing point. He finds himself up into P6. James Cruz going backwards with these hard compound tyres, and yeah, really cannot get them up to temperature, I'm sure. Further up though, Sadek trying to get onto the back of Sawston. He's nearly out of DRS range now, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we'll have to reset the interval timer and see if we can get it reset, but it's still only saying half a tenth between them. That's definitely not right. Tomo, James Cruz onto this back DRS straight. Is Sadek close enough to launch an attack? He's got ERS and he's going to have DRS. Here he goes then, trying to stick with the AlphaTauri. Doesn't look like he's going to be close enough despite his best efforts. James Cruz under effort, under pressure from the Williams. He's sitting in the slipstream, waiting. He's going to go to the outside. Is he going to pull to the inside? No. James Cruz to the inside. Around the outside goes the Williams for P7. He's going to get it stuck. James Cruz leave the space on the outside. He's going to fill that space. Corner. The Williams is sent spinning round through the final corner. He's going to lose. Pulling onto the track. Is the Red Bull going to come in contact with him? No. The Williams though found himself on the inside for the last corner. That never usually works, and it didn't work on this occasion either. James taking the racing line, and TWS under pressure from Iron Apple, who's sideways as well. Looks like everyone's struggling for traction in this race. Up the inside, trying to get his way. Must have had a bit of an off. He's really struggling to get the car back into the tyre window because he's really struggling. He's lost the places to both racing points, and it must be his tyres really going off because you can see he's lacking the grip and really just going backwards. Lost the 2 places, but Tom Marsh leads the way. Looks like Sadek up the inside of Sawston into turn 12. Not quite, but the Sawston goes in deep. Can Sadek set up a cutback and get the good run on to this back DRS straight? Needs a good exit and good launch of turn 13. Here we go then, 150 miles an hour on the run to the line, and back straight. Here we go, DRS wide open for P2. Sadek to the outside. AlphaTauri soared the Alfa Romeo off the track, so the 2 racing points inherit second and third there, but the Alfa Romeo, instead of opting for a cutback, decided to go for around the side, and that from the Sawston then forced off the track. He's going to need to opt in for the pit lane, but yeah, just don't know what either of them were thinking. The AlphaTauri trying to claim the racing line, the Alfa Romeo trying to stick it around the outside, found himself off the track. Not his fault, but definitely could have opted for a switchback instead of going around the outside. The 2 racing points looking to have a bit of a battle as well. James Cruz on the back of Sadek now, who seems to be under pressure. Teak as well looking to get involved. Everywhere else seems to be pretty spread out at the moment. Darkness Abyss and Iron Apple though, the 2 racing points for second and third, both on different strategies, but both looking very strong in this race. They've got a load of pace so far, and TWS looking, he looks like he's regathered himself, re-evaluated the situation. Iron Apple picks up a 3-second time penalty in this race. Darkness Abyss then around the outside of his teammate Iron Apple, trying to hang on, and he sets up a nice cutback side by side. They go in through the sail curve, turn 13 around the outside, trying to get the power down. Darkness Abyss soars down the inside, nice little switchback, but here comes his teammate back at him to the inside. No DRS though, he's going to have to use all his overtake and the slipstream. Darkness Abyss pulling away to the inside. Iron Apple trying to find his way through to the outside. They go then. He's going to send his teammate in deep, set up a cutback. Yes, he is. Get the power down very nicely and try and set up a cutback, but it's not going to be good enough. And Darkness Abyss sets himself up, and lovely a little up into P2 then, and Iron Apple very wide once again, really struggling on these hard tyres. This could be the TWS's chance. Tom Marsh, the race leader, into the pits for the hard compound tyre, then taking them comfortably to the end. I'm sure Sadek as well into the pit lane. Have we got any more action further up? It looks like Iron Apple's still trying to get his way onto the back of his teammate Darkness Abyss, who currently leads the way sideways for Iron Apple, though not what he would have wanted one bit. TWS looking to get involved as well. AA Gaming on those fresh medium tyres, looking to get himself up the grid once again. PSI Legends on a recovery drive. Let's see what he can do about it. He's on the back of the McLaren as it stands, and he back in the lobby. He's finally reconnected after disconnecting just after quali, but TWS then all over the back of Iron Apple. This could be a change for P2. AA Gaming though on the back of his teammate. A lot of teammate battles in today's race. We saw the two McLarens come together earlier. We saw the two racing points go side by side, and we've seen two different alphas, but two alphas nonetheless come together as well. It looks like names don't mean anything in Formula 1. They're going to race them as hard as they can to the inside. Bit of a lock-up for AA Gaming. TWS, though, further up for P2 to the inside. DRS and ERS. There should be a pretty plain sailing move. To the inside goes Iron Apple. Can he get it back up the inside? No, not quite. So that's going to be him, I'm pretty sure. Up the inside, then maybe last desperation effort. Further, AA Gaming's cleared his teammate up inside and back onto the race line. Sam doesn't make it too difficult for his teammate Tomo on the back of James potentially. Nope, not quite. Losing out. He's on these hard tyres and they're still not getting into the own for him. Lap 17 or so. Around about lap 17 or so, Sam still trying to stick with his teammate on the hard tyres. Tom Marsh then comes out in P9 on the fresh hard tyres. The Sawston, after recovering from his little crash earlier with the Alfa Romeo of Sadek, find himself P12 and pitted for the medium compound of tyre. So Power is also into the pits. The McLaren taking a pit stop, and that's going to promote a couple of people up a couple of places before they pit onto the hard tyres to the end of the race. Then is Power. So, the rest, Iron to it of TS. He's looking to try. If my mic is coming out, doesn't seem to connect to the PS4 very well. As well, looking to now struggle hard time way through a stint, but Tom Marsh, previous race to the pits, still trying to do everything. The pit window is open for the one-stop strategy, so it looks like the medium tyres will be coming in to the pits rather shortly. Iron Apple sticking with TWS, so it looks like the medium tyres are now starting to drop off that a little bit more, and Iron Apple can find himself recovering and trying to make his way back up the grid potentially. Now these medium tyres are starting to go off. This is his lap, and this is probably TWS's in lap. The blue span means their pit window is open, and they're going to be looking to come in rather shortly, I'm sure. So Iron Apple all over the back of TWS. Let's see if he can go for a move down into turn 15. Yeah, 14, 15. Down into turn 12. Regardless, here we go. Iron Apple still matching his best sector time. That's a Renault round. Is that James Cruz round off? He's into the wall. Not what he whatsoever, but back up to Iron Apple and TWS then in the slipstream. He's got the ERS to attack with, but TWS has got the ERS to defend with. Won't be in, but up the inside goes then Iron Apple to the inside. Around the outside goes TWS, breaks as late as he dares, but he's going to concede that one, thinks wiser of it, and Iron Apple up the inside and reclaims P2, and he's still trying to this again. Might cut it out on up the inside of Sam, and that should be a pretty plain sailing move for the net race leader. Who's into the pit lane? No one. TWS still decides to stick it out despite his tyres not being in the best of conditions. Here comes now, who finds himself with a buttload of pace. Yellow flags who set the 3 still. It's probably just the debris. So Teak all over the back of TW once again finds himself out of his zone, not trying to find his pace. Really taking a knock now in these later stages, similar to midway through. Sam trying to make his way through. PSL Legends as well looking to get involved. Teak all over the back of TWS, then the Haas versus the Ferrari, both Ferrari engine powered cars. Now up to 6 people. Welcome to the stream, everyone. I hope you do enjoy your stay. Apologies again for missing half of quali. Again, just woke up late, and yeah, my apologies for that. Can only apologise and move on from it. Here for the race though, we're halfway through lap 14 of 28 here at the Shanghai International Circuit. Here we go then. Teague on TWS for the podium place. This should be a pretty plain sailing move up the inside. The Haas can't really do much. He reclaims the racing line, and Teague up in place. Let's see when everyone pile into the pits. Darkness a bit and a bit wide, and using a couple of liberties. It's well in. Is that TWS round? No. Who's that round? Sam and PSL having a bit of a battle. Then PSL up the only going backwards. So PSL left. PA, good move then from him. Darkness Abyss in. AA Gaming up into third after his early stop. He's on the 2-stop strategy. He needs to get himself pushing and his head down in this race. Iron Apple decides to stay out. Tomo decides to stay out. These guys opt in for the alternate strategy. If they did put the medium tires on, they could probably make it to the end. They just want that little bit more of security. So Sam I am on the back of PSL Legends. Let's see if he can try and launch an attack. Maybe his tyres aren't looking in the best of conditions, so probably not. PSL Legends as well has a buttload of pace around the high circuit. James Cruz, after having a bit of a spin, finds himself on the back of Sadek for the final points paying position as well of P10. Down to 15 runners, but no DNFs recently. Yellow flags through sector 2. Not too sure what's happened here. It looks as though just a game glitch maybe, but AA Gaming really needing to push. He needs to get his head down with this 2-stop strategy, use the grip available on the tyres, and make sure he can make the most of his alternate strategy. So didn't even realise, but Tom Marsh has just been overtaken by his team of PSL Legends up the inside of the hairpin and up into P4. Looks like the Mercedes duo didn't make it too hard for each other. Don't want to race each other too much. Tom knows, as Ball is into the pit lane for some probably hard compound tyres. PSL Legends knew he was faster. Tom knew that he was faster, and they didn't want to make it too difficult for each other. Monkey then on the back of James Cruz for P11. This isn't going to be for much. It's going to be more for pride, or even set them up later in the race for some good track position, but he is on the back of him nonetheless. Tom Marsh trying to stick with his teammate, maybe just going to try and stick with him. You know, nothing wrong with just DRS. Save up his DRS a little. They're both running low on the energy system. The small little motor in the engine that transfers the kinetic energy from the brakes when they slam on the brakes at 200 miles an hour, slam it down, and converts that heat energy, the kinetic energy, obviously into heat energy from the friction of the brake. That heat energy then turn into electrical energy to power a motor that gives them around about an extra 140 brake horsepower. And if you know, that's more than your family road car, 140 brake horsepower. That's probably, depending on the road car, maybe even double. And that's extra. Your family road car, 2 of those extra in these Formula 1 cars, probably hit in excess of maybe in these cars then, a modern day Formula 1 cars, not saying that much. But yeah, so when you press the button, they've got that extra around the outside, down the straight, whatever it may be. So Monkey Mafia back in DRS should be a pretty plain sailing move. He's not got much energy to use. He couldn't quite get the overspeed. He's not going to be close enough to get himself up the inside, so not going to find himself launching an attack for the time being. Sam into the pits on his 14-lap old hard tyres. He's going to be strapping on a set of medium compound tyres to the end of the race. well, looking eager to get past T. Medium tyres comes out behind the Ferrari. Iron Apple still sticking it out with those 4. He's taking the bunt now so he can have a really strong end to the race on those medium tyres, and fair play to him if it works out. Yellow flags through sector 3. No one's in sector 3 game. Come on, get to grips. But Tomo, yeah, trying to get onto the back of TQ. Had a lot of pace towards the end of that previous stint. We'll go on board with race leader. The yellow flags through sector 2 as round. No, it doesn't look like it. Luckily, there's no one round. Sam I Am comes out in front of the Haas up into P11 and are looking to charge after everyone else with those fresh mediums. It looks like there's a spinner though. Is anyone round? No, I thought I saw someone spin. Luckily not. The Sawston though seems to be a lap down and more taking a Sunday drive in this race rather than a competitive league race, but he finds himself a minute down on the next driver. So yeah, not the best of races for the AlphaTauri. Tomo up the inside, the Ferrari, here he goes. Can he? Yes he can. The Ferrari not really able to do much, so Tomo with DRS, pretty plain sailing move up the inside, down the brakes, and finds himself up into P6. Now the final 11 laps of this race to go. Tomo sets the fastest lap with that as well. He's got some pace on these fresh medium tyres then, and looking to claim PSL Legends as well. Still yet to pit. He could be going potentially for this soft tyres at the end of the race. If he can eke these out a little bit more, he could go for the softs a bit, but he could also, so he has got either option. Obviously you have to change compound in this. Is that yeah, this is the Haas of August into the pit lane. So is this a planned pit stop? Is it a front wing pit stop? No, it looks like a planned pit stop. Soft tyres to the end of the race. This is going to be a bit of a stretch for the Haas, but can definitely be done. Teak still on the back of Tomo, maybe to launch a counter attack. Sam with a 3-second time penalty though, not what he would have wanted one bit. It's very easy to do though, extend here at China, just a little bit wide, potentially coming out of turn 11 or 10, and yeah, that's easy to do. With the penalties, but yeah, he finds himself up with 3 seconds. No one else really though with penalties apart from a few others. Is that a red under and lapped him, so no real battle there. So the pits then comes your race leader of Iron Apple. He's into the pits for his pit stop. What tyres are going on to that BWT Racing Point? It's the medium compound tyres. He's in the race. He's going to have a very, very fast end though. Going to be pushing everything out of these tyres. But he comes out just behind the Haas though. He's on these fresh medium tyres. Let's see what sort of the Racing Point has. AA Gaming though back in the race where he rightfully belongs. It must be said he was doing a great start to the race. Let's see if he can hang on for the rest of it though. He's already made one stop. When he makes his second, it'll probably be soft compound tyres. Faber back, needing to get past TWS. He needs to do it, and he needs to do it fast. Does at the Racing Point. He needs to soar his way past the Haas. He needs to get himself on that charge, have that momentum to get himself up the grid. So up the inside, he's had a good run. Here goes Iron Apple. This may only be for P7, but it's got some significance towards the end of the race. If TWS can hold him behind for a lot longer, it will definitely have a massive factor, but he doesn't do that. As though he's just going to keep the position. Up the inside goes Apple then, and a pretty plain safe move for the Racing Point up into P7, using this momentum greatly to try and get himself up. If that, Augusta and Source looks as though those two are going to be duking it out for a little bit. So, looks like Legends' tyres have really gone off. He's going to be coming in soon, I'm sure. Just going to peel off and let his teammate go. It seems PSL Legends not wanting to make it too difficult for that, for his teammate. That, or he got a massive slide. Yeah, 2 seconds down in the first sector. His tyres are going to be screaming for help. He's definitely going to be in shortly, I'm sure. But Augusto and having a battle back here. This is what we're on board with. So Ori Gustavo down the inside, then into the final contact round. The Haas having a bit of a tussle towards the is the one sent worst off, so not what he would have wanted. He's just having a bit of a scrap. It looks like maybe Sawson's going to weigh up for him. We'll have to see. But PSI Legends finds himself under pressure from Abyss, who's on the race for, well, the final podium place in this race. Three under pressure though from the racing point up the inside. He shouldn't fight this one too hard. Down the inside he goes. Then is he going to fight it? No, he's just going to concede this one. Think better of it. Nice racecraft shown from the Mercedes, who's probably got to be into this pit split slap surely. If yeah, into the pit and looking to get himself a new set of tyres, I'm sure, and really not confident on the brakes through the pit lane. Really just not knowing where the pit limit was, but he's into the pit lane. Nonetheless, it's the Mercedes for the soft compound tyres to the end of the race. He's going to have a very quick end. Let's see how strategy plays a factor. We've got a lot of people on a lot of different strategies. Iron Apple finds himself in front of the Mercedes, who's now down into P9. Could be P10. Yes, it's going to be P3. He's lost 7 positions out of that. But yeah, he's definitely going to be quick. He's going to be gaining a lot of time. He needs to use the softs while they're fresh and getting themselves up into that temperature. He needs it from those fresh, soft tyres. Teak then trying to get onto the back of Tomo. But when is Gaming going to come in for his final pit stop, or is he going to stretch those to the end? It'll be a hard ask of those medium tyres, but it's probably doable if he can really conserve the throttle. Be so careful on the loud pedal as the Ferrari of Monkey Mafia picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. A lot of yellow flag prompts coming up on my screen, but it looks as though PSL Legends looking to make up the inside. He's got up the inside, claims the racing line to the Mercedes, who finds himself purple in sector 2 and on a charge. 2.8 seconds adrift from the next car into the pit lane then, so he's not showing out, really braking and making sure he can get the most from Darkness Abyss, who are both looking to take these tyres to the end of the race. Tomo into P3 as well. This is going to be an exciting end to the race, I'm sure. So Apple up into P5. AA Gaming, where's he going to come up? The Haas is there. He's going to be coming out. It looks like the Haas is going to make up a position. But the difference is AA Gaming, with the pace he's got, is definitely going to be looking intriguing to get himself up and making sure he can make the most of these tyres while they last. 7 laps to go in this Chinese Grand Prix, and it's definitely going to be a spicy 7 laps for sure. So on the back of P8 is PSL Legends on the back of Sadok, Alfa Romeo, and the Mercedes looking to have a bit of a tussle then. Here comes the Mercedes on the Alfa Romeo. Is he close enough to the inside? Not quite. He's running out of VRS though, and Sadok's got quite a lot if he does choose to defend sideways. And that's the opportunity PSL Legends needs to get himself up the inside. Sadok completely sideways then coming out of that corner, and PSL Legends most of it. So he's trying to chase down the Red Bull, who's trying to chase down the Haas. 2.6 seconds adrift, I should say, of the Haas, and looking to find himself up into P6. He's definitely on a charge. Let's see what he can do. Darkness Abyss around the outside for the race lead. They go. They're not quite going to get it stuck. Up the inside. Tom Marsh cut back as quickly as they can. This is the battle for lead then, and Tom Marsh looking to try and stay on the back of Darkness, but with those 6-lap fresh soft, 7-lap fresher hards and a 4-lap fresher than Tom Marsh can still bring it back. 4 laps is a lot though. Let's see if he can keep with Darkness. All he needs is DRS and he should be okay. Let's see if he can stick with the racing point down through turn 4 and into turn 6. Legends with the fastest lap of the race. Iron Apple on the back of Teague. So Tom Marsh trying to stick with the racing point, not quite being able to do so. He hasn't quite got the pace. Here's Gaming though on the back of TWS. Legends not with the pace he would have wanted so far. So on the back of TWS is is Gaming. He's looking eager to get past, as well as Iron Apple, who's eager to get past Teak for P4, and we'll see how this unfolds. So Ferrari versus Racing Point here at Shanghai through into turn 12, just before the long snail of turn 13. He's going to be through the DRS detection point, very much so. AA Gaming up the side of TWS, and let's see if he can launch a counter attack. No, so AA Gaming claims that position then, but further back up we have to keep flicking between them. Here is Iron Apple. He's a little bit further adrift than he would like, but he has got DRS, and it looks like Iron Apple's going to go deeper. Position Iron Apple, who's on a charge, and looking to try and chase down Tomo, who's a further 5, and in he goes. It looks like Teak won't be in a good enough position to launch counter attack. So AA Gaming now on the charge for Teak. The Ferrari looking to hang on from Gaming, but 5 seconds definitely doable. Let's see what Gaming can do. Legends as well closing in. He's at another purple lap of 33.0. He's getting everything as TWS is very wide through turn 2. Can't get it bit in as much as he would have liked, so going to be struggling. But Teak still on the back of Iron Apple. Let's see if he can stick with him into the DRS zone. So PSL Legends now on the back of TWS. Let's see if he can launch an attack. We're into the final 5 laps of this race. Darkness Abyss leads the way. He's got Tom Marsh though close for company if he makes a mistake, but Darkness Abyss looking on course to take this one. Let's see where he started actually. I don't think he actually had the best of qualifiers. We'll go to position change, up 19 places. He started last on the grid and he finds himself up in P1. Absolutely remarkable stuff as TWS is sideways through the Snell curve, finds himself into P7. Great opportunistic move as well, as Legends is more just Moses. He clears the way his own way, and TWS completely sideways through that corner of turn 13. Finds himself on the back foot. Doom and Gloom though, going to be a bit of a split towards the end of the race, potentially, maybe. Do not rule it out. Anything could happen. Quick weather change though over the Shanghai circuit. Maybe if we'd have just waited a little bit longer, there would have been a little bit more rain on show. But Teak still on the back of Iron Apple, keeping him honest. Is the Ferrari, not letting him get too far ahead in this race. We've got 4 laps to go, but Abyss still leads the way from Marsh, from Tomo, Iron Apple in P4. We're on board with Teak, Gaming in a P6, Legends P7, TWS P8, Ham P9, and Sadek rounding off the top 10. This could be a spicy end to the race. AA Gaming closing in on Teak, and he's closing in fast. The closing speed is remarkable. Teak just out of that DRS range as well. It is so overcast here. Could we see a couple of light showers potentially with these overcast conditions? I would not be surprised, and it would add that little extra bit of seasoning to what is already a pretty good Chinese Grand Prix. Surprise, surprise, there's been a half decent here in China. Time picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. AA Gaming on the back of Teak. He's looking to himself into P5. He could well backwards momentum. Teak very worrying. And 28 of this race, so into P7, trying to chase down Gaming. He's just going to run out of time and even tire grip to chase down the rest of the field. So 7th is probably the best he can hope for. Yellow flags through sector 3. It looks like the Ferrari of Monkey Mafia is round through Snell curve. Let's see if I'm right on board with him. Yep, it looks exactly that, completely sideways. Going to lose the position to James Cruz, who soars past and up into P11. So close down P5 and the soft tires compared to the mediums, and these should closing in with a speed to Teak and Iron Apple. Not doing that through this middle sector though. He's not making the most of it. Yes, he is. That gap's coming down now. That gap is most certainly coming down now. He needs to get into the DRS, and he needs to do it quickly. 3/10 in a couple of corners, probably doable if he really pushes, but he needs the DRS. Not the DRS on the penultimate lap. That's the last thing he wants. He wants it now. He needs to get his way through. Can he get close enough? Just going to fall short, but he's got to launch the attack with. Let's see if he can do so. For people watching the stream for these lays, do like and subscribe. It does help the channel out a lot. But Gaming now creeping into the DRS down this back straight, and really harsh on the brakes, really pushing these tires. Big lock up though, hits the apex nicely, trying to set up the move on Teak. He's now well inside the DRS as we hit the detection point. Let's see if he can launch an attack down into turn 1. He's definitely close. He's using his ERS. Onto the penultimate lap we go then. 27 off 28. It looks like there's a Ferrari of Monkey Mafia again getting caught up. Sawston up into P12. Abyss still commanding victory, so he doesn't seem to be challenged at the moment. Gaming though still on the back of Teak. We're onto the of the race. Gaming on the back of Teak. Going to be looking interesting as he tries to get his way through. So in the slipstream and DRS ERS down this back, let's see when he can attack. He needs to get through primarily really quickly if he wants any chance of Iron Apple, but Iron Apple does have that seconds of to pressure. Teague very much under pressure, really having to hold down the tyrant that is the soft tires right behind him, keeping him on it. And hopefully he can hold his nerve, keep his cool, and just being under pressure, trying to compose himself in this race. So, Gaming all over the back of Teak then. Here we go. This is going to be the move that decides it all. Teak to the inside as soon as he can. I'm sure to white line it. Surely it's going to be in vain though. To the inside, it's not going to be enough. Gaming to the outside, he's just going to soar around the outside with the DRS. Nothing the Ferrari can do. That's such a shame. Gaming just around the outside. The Ferrari left defenseless from the charging Red Bull. We're onto the final lap now though, and Darkness leads the way, and he is looking on course to take the win from the back of the grid. Road to Glory does the Racing Point. It's a Racing Point Mercedes Williams 123. So all Mercedes powered cars here at the Shanghai circuit. Let's see if Gaming can launch an attack on Iron Apple. He's at 1.5 seconds adrift. Let's see if he can get close enough. Teak still keeping Gaming honest. Nothing he could really do there. Just a back straight DRS as well. Nothing he could do. There's rain though. Rain has come. I was right. There's the spits of rain here on the final lap. This is definitely going to play an interesting factor, but not long in this race for it to really make much of a difference. I'm sure there's going to be a couple of spinners as that Sadek struggling through turn 1 and 2. Rain is coming though, and very much so on the last lap. This could play into the hands of Gaming though if he can maybe adapt. He can find himself on the back of Iron Apple. Doesn't look like he's done so though. 1.4 seconds adrift. He's going to need another lap, but he hasn't got the other lap. He's ran out of time really to launch a proper attack on Iron Apple. So P4 seems to be secure, but he has got the 5-second time penalty to contend with. Then does Iron Apple, and AA Gaming probably just going to have to settle for P5. Still a good result for him, and it looks like Legends has fallen back a little bit as well. 12 seconds adrift, so not being the race he would have wanted one bit into turn into the final turn for Darkness Abyss, who crosses the line from last on the grid. He is your race winner for today here at China. Tom Marsh round to the grid as well. He'll cross the line in second, followed by Tomo, who takes P2 harshly with penalties across the line. Apple, he'll take P4. AA Gaming inherits P5. Teak as well will inherit P5, and AA Gaming up to P4. So Teak into P5. DRS disabled, so it is wet enough for intermediate on the last lap. Everyone else crawling around at a snail's pace. Legends struggling across the line to get the power down into P7. Across the line, this will be P9. TWS very wide at the hairpin, under pressure from Sadek though. Sadek's round, he's hit the wall. Luckily, not his front wheel off on the final lap. That would have been complete heartbreak. Composing himself and just crawling it across the line. He can just take a breather and get across the line. This is going to be the final podium place. This is wet enough for intermediate tyres. So Sadek crossing the line. That's going to be P10. James Cruz crawling across the line as well. Completely, you can see how much this Renault is struggling. the group all wet. The end. Sawston still waiting for him through the hairpin, completely sideways. Go. So, your driver of the day, Darkness Abyss, I do definitely agree. Played the strategy to a T. Very good from the P1. He is your to drive well. Goes to Abyss, Tomo and Tom Marsh. AA Gaming in a P4. Good race from him despite the alternate strategy. Teak in P5. Iron Apple P6. Legends in P7. The pole man not having the race. He would have wanted 40 seconds adrift from the race leader, but fastest lap just to sweeten the news a little bit. But Sam in P8. TWS in P9. Sadek running off the top 10. James Cruz in P11. Sawston P12. The DNFs, quite a few. Avo, Monkey, Power, Ash, Venom, Huge, Sanity and Dennis running off the grid. A lot of first lap crashes. They didn't even get through lap 1, did Jin or Dennis. Very poor showing from them. Completely not their fault though. They just couldn't really do much with the incidents. Just got caught up a little bit and under traction potentially as well. Enjoyed the comments. Good job. Cheers, mate. I'm completely knackered. I'm not even thinking of being awake at this point. But yeah, a bit tired. Not really my best work. Flush the mic. Yeah, it's not like it's the control and connection to the PS4. It just my control cuts out as well. I get a bit like massive dead zone on my controller. But yeah, we'll have to sort that out and improve the sound quality a little bit more for everyone. But this has been FRL Division 2 Round 3 here at Shanghai. A good race it was, and a deserved winner from last on the grid. I've been Zach. I hope you have enjoyed.